Greetings and welcome to the Barbara Gentry-Pugh Show. I'm excited that you could join us today. And I have as my special guest, Nancy O'Neill. Welcome, Nancy.
Thank you so much for inviting me out.
It's so good to have you on the show today. Nancy is the Executive Director of Women Who Inspire. I was just very impressed with all of what you're doing, and I'm just really excited that you could be here today to share with our audience all the wonderful things that you're doing to helping women in various areas.
Yes.
And so our audience will get to know a little bit more about Women Who Inspire and all the things that you have to offer. I'd just like to introduce Nancy. She is a licensed insurance professional. She also owns her own insurance company.
Yes.
She has a master's degree in communication from Wayne State University and a bachelor's in journalism and international relations from the University of Wisconsin. And I was very impressed to know that you started a Women of Color organization called Myriad.
Yes.
When you were in Wisconsin. So
Yes.
you're real familiar with starting organizations. So tell us a little bit more about Women Who Inspire. I was just really impressed with your mission statement. So if you could
thank you
just
so
share
much.
a little bit about what you're all about. I know you were founded in 2011, January 2012.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Well, I felt inspired by God to start the organization in November of 2012, and I wasn't sure if it was just going to be a Christian women's networking group or a nonprofit. So I just went out ahead and started on my own. And by the time we had the first event with our now executive director, Dr. Kim Logan Nolan, who's a personal mentor of mine, I knew that I was going to need some help. And this was a little bit bigger of a picture than I had enlarged or had anticipated. Mm-hmm. So I immediately spent the next 3 weeks calling friends and women who had been at the initial event and let them know that I needed help and that we were going to turn this into a nonprofit. I decided not to take the LLC private sector route and instead be able to give back to the community. And about February of 2013 or March 2013, we filed our paperwork to become a 501c3.
Great.
Yes.
I just love what you're doing, especially helping young women in business,
Yes.
in entrepreneurship.
Yes.
And I know you have had a few challenges, I'm sure, starting a business. I can just say that with confidence.
Yes.
Because anytime you start a business, there are challenges. So I can see what maybe inspired you to do this because you needed help and encouragement.
I did.
And I'm sure that this was inspired by God for you to help others. So,
of course.
Tell us a little bit about your fourfold purpose.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Our fourfold purpose, and that is a tongue twister.
It is.
is to inspire, mentor. We have a health and wellness arm, and then last, entrepreneurship. Most of our events right now have been focused on starting your own business. We had one event this year, which was how to start a nonprofit, which was very popular and well attended, even though it was snowing. It was like practically a blizzard outside, but still we had a great turnout for that. And there's just, I think in our community, there's just a need for information. I know starting out in insurance that I tapped shoulders for two women that I looked up to and I thought would be more than willing to help me in this business venture, and they weren't, and I was really surprised about it. So I said, why not start an organization where in a non-threatening environment where we can help other women succeed and start their own businesses. And I'm just so excited by the amount of feedback that we've gotten back that, you know, women come in, they feel encouraged, they feel uplifted, they feel motivated. And I just think, I'm excited about doing something positive in the community. Of course, I want to do to others what I would like them to do for me. So I think I blazed a trail. I volunteer at my church, and I've also sat on some other organizations, as well as having a non-profit background in fundraising. So all of these things and experiences led up to me starting the organization, and I just think I was in the right place at the right time. To have something like this in the community.
And I just really like what you said, you were inspired by God. Because
Yes.
if God endorses it, it's going to be a success. And just
I
the whole
agree.
mission about inspiring, just to be inspired by other women that
Yes.
have gone before you or
Yes.
gone before us in business or whatever, career or whatever.
Right,
It's
right.
always good to have someone you can sit down with and talk to, and just so you won't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right, right. And I think the number one reason why a lot of women don't start business is because of fear. Fear of failure, or they feel like they won't have the support from their family and friends. And then the other reason, I think, is just lack of information. And so we wanted to fill those two gaps. We wanted to give women, encourage women, and give them faith and hope, and to believe in themselves that this is something that they can do, and also provide them with the information. So we partnered with organizations like SEED and Small Business Association to be able to provide the resources that these women need to successfully start their own business.
And as I was reading about you work with college students even before they graduate, that
Yes.
you connect with them and help them to just get a good footage in their career, their business, or whatever. I think that was
Right.
just amazing.
That's one of the main purposes of Women Who Inspire. Our first year we met at Lawrence Tech University in hopes of launching our mentorship program called Purpose. Dr. Kim Logan Nolan was a mentor to me when I was going through college, and as I said before, she's our executive director. We got a little bit delayed in the process with starting the mentorship program, just because I think a lot of traditional age college women don't see the value in it. So we are looking to start it this year in October. So that just gave us more time to prepare and be able to market our event and hopefully launch Purpose this year.
That is great. I was
Yes.
very impressed with the purpose arm of your organization, where it talks
Yes.
about wellness, because sometimes we're just not well-rounded in all areas.
Right.
And we may be very educated but have no real good social skills.
Yes, of course.
And so you need the whole package.
Yes,
need
you
to be
do.
physically, spiritually, socially,
Right.
psychologically stable to,
I
to
agree.
be successful.
Yes, you
and,
do.
And sometimes we don't have the whole package. And I think that's just great that you are providing that
Yes.
that forum.
Yes, and in July, we had, I'm sorry, I got to look at my own sheet. May 24th, we had Pastor Sharice Gibbert come out, and that's one of the things she talked about was balance. And having that balance in your life. How do you balance family, career, different things that may be going on with your children? So we felt that there was psychological and spiritual as well. There was a big need, because a lot of times as women, we take care of everyone else and take care of ourselves last. And for married women or women that have families, they say if the wife or the mother falls apart, there goes the whole family. So it is very important as women that we do take care of ourselves. And I think that Dr. Gibbert did an awesome job at that brunch at Beans and Cornbread, just sharing her own personal experiences, how God used her in different ways at different times of her life, and how she's in a different phase right now where she's actually launching her own business, which is a health and wellness studio. So she'd be a good speaker for you.
Great.
Yeah, in Midtown, which is like the medical mecca of really the city or the state. And so God has just really been positioning her with what He wants to and has to do with her life. And she was a big motivation to most of the women that were able to hear her speak that day.
Oh, that's great. What would you say is the greatest challenge for women? I know sometimes it's very hard to be a mother, be a wife, have a career or a business. What is the greatest challenge that you see with the women that maybe you're networking with as a hurdle they need to either work toward getting over?
I think one of the greatest challenges is having that balance, and just to be happy, have that steady balance in your life. Some of those experiences you spoke about, I haven't had those experiences yet. I'm not a wife or a mother at this time, but I think, wherever you are in life, like the apostle says, in whatever state, to be content. And I think a lot of times as women, we're always looking for, that next experience. If you're single, you want to be married. If you're married, you want to have children. And God wants us in whatever phase that we're in to be content with our life. So I think just having that balance and that personal relationship with Him, because I believe if you have the personal relationship with Him, going up and down, that whoever you come in contact with, that your experience with God and your relationship with God will exude to other people as well.
It is so important to have a relationship with God.
Yes, it is.
Because you have help.
Yes.
And you have the Holy Spirit there to help you, and even when others don't encourage you, David
Right.
said we can encourage ourselves in the
right.
Lord. So it is just so important. So your organization is Professional Women Christian Organization.
Yes,
now,
it
does
is.
that mean that someone else could not come if they were of another faith, or how would that work? And I know the importance of Christian women getting together.
Yes, yes. And I do quite a bit of networking in my profession. You almost have to. But one of the reasons why I was interested and I did the Christian Arm is because I felt like women needed a place where they could just let go and let down outside of the four walls of a church. And so our events are primarily at Ferndale Library, which means they're open to the public and anyone can come. We even invite men to come out. They can't join the organization, but we have what we call Friends of the Organization, which include men. And, these women have brothers, they have husbands. So we want anyone to feel a part, that they feel welcome to come in to the group. Anyone can join. I'm sure we may have some women that are from different faiths that have joined the organization. We don't want to exclude anyone. It's open to anyone that would like to come, but at the same time, if women want to talk about, what their relationship is with God, we allow that too. Not necessarily in a public setting, because we have certain guidelines that we have to follow while we're at the library, but we have private events, such as the one with Dr. Sharice Gibber, where we're able to discuss some of our religious beliefs and our spiritual background more freely.
Because that's so important.
It is very important.
Very important. You've had some wonderful speakers, and I've had
Yes.
the privilege of knowing several.
Yes, yes,
Kim Naylor,
yes,
she's been on the show, and as I shared with you, I just love her spirit.
yes.
And
She's a
Gail-
very beautiful person.
And Gail
Perry
Mason,
Mason, yes.
yeah, I've heard her speak, and she's an awesome woman that is
Yes,
such an
she is.
encourager.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit more about some of the events that you've had, and then
Yes.
some of the ones that's coming up.
Sure. Gail Perry Mason, to start off, she is one of our more popular speakers, and I love her. She's just always positive, always upbeat. I remember going into her office about a year ago, and I was just telling her about some of the things I was going through, and she's like, "Oh no, don't say that. We're only going to talk about the Word of God and stay positive." And I was like, and she was going through a challenge herself, and I was just like, wow. So she is very much a motivator for me. And of course, like I said, our executive director, Dr. Kim Logan Nolan, she's spoken to our group twice. She actually spoke 19 or 20 years ago at University of Wisconsin with the Myriad organization. So she's really been with me from the beginning, and she's seen me grow and develop, and I've been able to see her children grow up and develop as well, including her two younger daughters. So it's just been an awesome experience how God has just brought everything, it seems like, full circle. And then coming up September 15th, we have Joycelyn Jean-Garan, and she's the founder of the Sachet organization, a very powerful woman in the area, and she was very popular as well. October the 6th, we have the launch of her.
Let's go back to the one you just
Yes.
mentioned.
Yes,
Can you
Joycelyn
let our
Jean-Garan.
audience know what that Sasha, what does that means, or what is the organization she's?
Yes, I don't have the full spell out of the acronym,
Okay.
but they can look it up online at sachet.org.
Sasha, S-H.
SASHE.
Okay, SAH. Okay.
Yes,
SAH.
and I was able to attend her Sasha conference last year,
Okay.
and it's something to a tune of Sisters Achieving Economic Empowerment.
Okay.
And so she talks about women who are transitioning in business, if they're going from a profession to starting a business to a profession, if they're changing professions, and she's a business and professional women's coach. So
Right.
that's really her area of expertise. And
That's September 15th.
that's September the
Okay.
15th at Ferndale Library.
Okay.
From 7 to 9.
7 to 9. Okay.
Yep, and then our Win Fest, which is the launch of the Purpose organization, will be October the 6th, and that location is still to be determined.
Okay.
So there'll be more information coming up on that on our website at womenwhoinspire.org.
Okay. Okay, and then I see you have something scheduled for November and December.
We meet monthly.
Okay.
As I said before, Dr. Kim, she's our executive director this year, and she will be, she is the chairwoman of the board.
Okay.
I apologize. I'm like, I'm the executive director.
Okay.
Okay, she'll be speaking, joining us again on Monday, November 9th at Ferndale Library from 7 to 9 as well. And then one of our advisory board members said last year she felt like we weren't social enough. So, and she's very much a socialite. So we just said for December, we're just going to have a party. We're going to be meeting at Compliments Art Gallery, which is a women-owned business in Southfield. And we're just going to be able to let our hair down if spouses want to attend, that's fine, or significant others. And, you know, it's just a time where we can get to know each other as individuals. So we're working on that, too. We don't want to be business all the time. We want to show people that we can have fun. Yes, we want to show people we can have fun, too.
Have fun, too.
Yes.
I was just really impressed about this Bible study that you organized in college. Tell us a little bit more about that. That is awesome. College is stressful enough, and you do need some support there.
Yes. Well, my senior year of college, I started a Bible study, and I didn't know you had all that information on me. I said, this is not on my bio. So you did quite a bit of research. But yes, it was called the Talitha Women's Bible Study. For some reason, God has me working in the area of women. I have no bias of working with men. I love men too. But I think there's just some things that women go through that only women should discuss in the presence of other women. So it was an awesome experience for me. I got to the point where I started to compromise, and I said, I'm going to just have a motivational type discussion. I remember, praying about, in order to try to draw more women to come out to the group. And I was praying about it, and the Lord was like, just said, don't take the word out. And when I heard that, I said, okay, I'm just going to leave the word in, and we're going to keep on going with it. And even though, like I said, the attendance was not what I wanted, I was pleased that I stuck with it for the year. I grew a lot spiritually myself, so I said, even if no one else comes out, I'm getting something from it as well. And I was able to minister to a woman who used to attend church service with me. She converted to the Nation of Islam. And it was just an awesome experience because I felt so, down, and I was really upset about it. And I was speaking to a woman at the church I was fellowshipping at the time, and she just let me know, don't get discouraged, because she said if she's really seeking for the truth, she'll find it. And so just the women that I encountered, even with that aspect, and I was glad that I was able to be a light in a dark place. So regardless of who came out and who didn't, it was just the fact that I was able and willing to share the word and the love of God with anyone who came across my path. So that in itself was a testimony.
Well, and God had whoever was there, he had them there for a purpose.
Exactly.
And maybe your job was just to plant the seed.
Exactly,
And
yes.
So what an awesome experience. And
yes,
I
it
know
was awesome.
And what I find in teaching, you learn so much just
Oh,
in
yes.
preparation.
Yes.
So the word kind of gets you before it gets to the other person.
Well, that's the true mark of a teacher, isn't it?
Yes,
You teach yourself first.
What inspired you? I know you said the Lord inspired you, but sometimes there's something deep inside, and the Lord just helps us to bring it out. What do you feel that really inspired you to really devote this kind of time and with women?
Right. Actually, the Sandy Hook experience with a tragedy, something happened, and I spent a lot of time just mourning over this situation because it was something that just kind of mentally, I never could imagine someone, harming children that young at a massive level. And I just remember once crying out to God, just saying, God, can't you do something about this so this type of violence doesn't continue? And he said, well, why don't you do something about it? So I just began to continue to seek God and ask him for his direction. And this Women Who Inspire organization kind of fell in my lap. And all of the pieces were there. I just hadn't put the pieces of the puzzle together. So as I began to put the pieces of the puzzle together, I began to see, the fundraising experience, the different things I had gone through in my life so far. This all helped prepare me for what I'm doing today. So it's just been a beautiful journey. It's been a beautiful experience. And I just think that something good can come out of a tragedy. And I would like to, go back to Sandy Hook, especially the teacher that used herself as a shield to save children's lives, has some type of award ceremony in her honor to be able to give back.
That's great.
Yes.
I know we were talking before the show, and we were talking about a little bit about mental illness and some situation that people are in, and they don't really know where to go for help.
Right.
And I noticed in my research,
extensive research. She's going back 20 years now.
In your working with women, and helping them to be balanced.
Yes.
And you mentioned the root problem, getting to the root problem.
Yes.
And I related very well with that because I'm a certified biblical counselor, and that is the crux of counseling, getting to the root of the problem.
Right.
And so tell us a little bit more about that. I was just kind of very impressed. I thought, wow, that's, I can relate to that.
Well, you have a lot more experience in the mental illness arena than I do, but I can say, going back to college, that I volunteered at a domestic violence shelter. I also worked or volunteered at a rape crisis center. So I was able to see firsthand the traumatic effects that women who sometimes put themselves in negative situations and circumstances, the real tragedies that can happen and take place. And instead of just dealing with the outcomes all the time, like, a woman who finds herself in a domestic violence shelter, why not deal with the root of the problem, which is why does she possibly find herself continuing these type of destructive relationships? So I think getting to the root of the problem a lot of times solves a lot of the issues. There's a book that Vicki, I can't think of her last name, that she has out, and it talks about robbing Peter to save Paul. She'd be another good speaker for you too.
Okay, thank
you. So I'm giving you all of these tips.
Yeah.
It talks about women who are constantly in financial crisis. And so these women, a lot of times it's just not the money, it's social issues behind that as well.
And, we find a lot of people, they're functioning, but they still carry that baggage. They carry those issues with them. And they could be better women if they could get rid of some of the baggage and get to the root of the problems. Because if you put a Band-Aid on it, you're going to eventually have to change the bandage. And it's never going to heal.
Exactly. And that's what we want to bring women to, is healing and wholeness.
Healing and wholeness. I love that. Well, I was very, very impressed doing my research with the organization. I was very impressed with what you're doing. And I plan on becoming a member.
Oh, thank you so much. We'd love to have you.
It is something that I feel that would be a benefit, just to have fellowship and networking with women that have been very successful. And that are doing great things. And so I just really admire you for what you've done.
Thank you so much.
I really do.
Thank
and
you.
As I told you, I love your logo. It's very similar to one I had some time ago for another group. But this is so important because years ago, I started a support group. It took me about 7 or 8 months to start it, but I knew what the Lord was telling me to do. And there was just eternal, just rewards from that group. And when the women said, I don't know what I would have done at that period of my life if we hadn't had this group. So groups are important.
Yes, they are. I agree.
Support and mentorship is just absolutely important. So we'll what's the process and what do I have to do to become a member?
Okay, well, I want to say, first of all, women can come out to the events at the Ferndale Library. They're always free of charge. We will let members know or guests know if there's a fee involved, and typically we only charge a fee if there's food involved. But the membership fee is $100 per year. We wanted to keep it affordable, especially since we're a startup and fairly new organization, even though word is getting around quickly. And there's 4 different ways that women can pay the annual membership fee. They can pay in full, they can pay quarterly, they can pay twice a year, semi-annually, or they can pay, we're starting monthly, hopefully in about a month. They can go to our website at womenwhoinspire.org and click on the membership tab, and they can pay online. But we do encourage women to come out to 1 or 2 events just to get a feel for it and see if this is something that's for them. It's not for everyone, but we hope every woman that comes out loves the organization.
Okay, well, I just feel it's something that I want to be a part of.
We're so glad.
Okay, so
We'd love to have you as a member.
Well, thank you very much.
And let me say too, we do have a student membership rate because we are, like I had mentioned, the Purpose group. We do want to launch a mentorship program this year, and we realize that sometimes finances is an issue for traditional age college women. So their fee is only $50 annually, and they can pay that in full or they can pay that in 2 payments.
Great, great. I know it'd be well worth their
Yes,
money.
I believe so.
Yeah. So I want for you to let the audience know how to get in touch with you again, and your website and other social media that you have.
We have a Facebook page. Our website is womenwhoinspire.org. And if they want to call me with any questions, my phone number is on the website.
Okay. All right. Well, it's just been a pleasure talking with you.
You as
and
well.
Meeting you. And I just congratulate you again.
Thank you so much.
For the wonderful organization, all that you're doing for women.
Thank you so much. And we've been Facebook friends for a few years now, and it's wonderful to be able to meet you in person.
Thank you. Thank you. Nice to meet you. This is the Barbara Gentry-Pugh Show, and we will see you on next time.